Hey guys, welcome back to Nutrition for the Soul. If you don't know me, my name is Tia, and I am here to give you guys just kind of an update of what's going on in life. So this past Wednesday, as you can see, we've got a new addition to the farm. I went ahead and got a Kubota. It is an L series, and we have the front loader attachment here. We also have what my nephew is currently working on, and that is cleaning off the tiller. We got that, and we have actually already done a little bit of work when we got it this past Wednesday. We did some tilling in the garden, just kind of got some of those big deep roots up, got them tilled up, kind of flipped over, hopefully to kind of prevent and aerate some of that. Now I'm kind of toying with the idea of eventually having this as a no-till garden, but unfortunately that's going to kind of have to wait. Here to Alabama during the summer months, it gets really overgrown really quick. And if you guys remember in some of my last videos, I talked about how this piece of property where I'm at now was actually an old hayfield and cow farm. So there's a ton of old just weeds and grass and just some deep roots that were very, very well established in this area. So it's going to take a few times to till it up, kind of get rid of that root system, get rid of those. Now, as some of you already know, with tilling a garden, it does actually kind of destroy the soil in some ways. So last year when it first got tilled, I was walking behind the tiller and just kind of watching it work and, kind of seeing if it was something that I really wanted to do. And as it was tilling, you could tell every single time that it got tilled and every single till that the person made, there was a ton of worms, which is great for the soil and great for nutrition and all of that stuff. But unfortunately, when you till, it actually does destroy those natural organisms that are a part of healthy soil. And I'm hoping, like I said before, that once I do get this garden just a little bit more established kind of year after year, hopefully I can go ahead and use it as a no-till garden. But until then, there was no way that as one person I could keep the weeds and just all of the stuff out of the garden. It was way too much for me last year. I mean, my garden looked like a jungle compared to the rest of the yard, which we kept mowed and whatnot. So there's a ton of updates that I want to take you guys to and show you and just kind of bring you out to the house. We haven't been here in a few months. Well, you guys haven't been here in a few months. But I can't wait to get everything going and talk you guys through what we're doing, how we're doing it, the progress that we're making. I have a ton of projects started, which in retrospect probably wasn't the best idea, but hey, it is what it is, and you only live once, so why not throw a ton of work on yourself at once? It's fine. So with that being said, you guys can't really see it, but I have chicken wire being stretched out. I bought 150 foot of chicken wire. I'll probably end up needing 2. I redneck measured the width of the or the length, whatever it's called, the going around it, of the garden, and it's gonna take about 2 of them. Now I'm kind of working through how I want to set it up, if I want to set it up as a permanent fence or if I want to set it up as a fence that can be taken down. I'm still toying with the idea, and even if I do set it up as a permanent a permanent fence, I'll probably still have it to a point that can be taken down eventually. But that's just gonna kind of come with time and seeing what works and what doesn't. As like I said before, last year I learned that big of a garden without being tilled and the roots being destroyed of the grass, it's just unmanageable. So it's the same concept with the fence. I'm gonna try it one way, and if it doesn't work, then we'll readjust and move on with life and try a different route. So we got the project of the garden, the fence. The other attachment I did get was a bush hog, because I have an about 11 acre-ish section of my property that, like I said before, was a hayfield. It is entirely overgrown. I mean, there's trees growing in the middle of it. So it's been a few years since that's been taken care of, but it is what it is. And hopefully one day I'll have animals over there grazing to keep it down. But for now, I don't. For now, it's a work in progress of just keeping it mowed, keeping it tilled, or not tilled, but keeping it healthy, keeping that soil and that grass and everything healthy. The other thing that I have started, and I knew I was probably going to be getting a tractor this year, I just wasn't really sure when. So one of the things that my dad and I actually started a few months back, probably a month and a half ago now, is this woodshed. Now, some of my inspiration has come from other YouTubers. Some of it has just come from the Lord giving me ideas. Like I've said before, I'm one single person putting in the energy and effort into this place. So I'm trying to do certain things as cost effective and efficient while utilizing the supplies that God has given me on this property, and just trying to be as resourceful as possible without destroying my land, but actually utilizing it. And I don't know the name of these trees, but they look similar to like the mimosa trees, or it's a similar wood. I don't know. It's got these like grain in the material or in the wood. I don't really know, again, what it's called, but it works. I've used it for a few different projects around the farm, and they work really well. They weather really well. They dry really well. So I actually have made my woodshed out of this. So it is wooded. I don't know if you're going to really be able to tell it, but this right here to this back post right here is 12 foot by 16 foot. And you can see that post leading up there. And then we got this big bad boy here. So this will be a 12 foot by 16 foot woodshed, which part of it's going to act as a woodshed for drying and getting the wood ready to burn. Once I get my wood heater installed, that will be a huge benefit. The other part of it is going to actually be able to house the tractor so that it's out of the weather, out of the rain, out of all of the elements, just to try to allow that tractor to last as long as possible. As you can imagine, it is a huge investment. So we want to utilize it, but we also want to keep it for as long as we possibly can, because I don't really want to have to go out and buy a tractor every few years. So with that being said, we've got the woodshed, the fence, the tractor, and we've got a ton of small projects. So when my parents used to stay on the property during the summer months, before they would travel and whatnot, we would have them park on the side, like where the driveway ends, and that area is actually really overgrown, especially in the summer months. Whatever the trees are around here, man, they grow like weeds. They grow so fast. So one of the projects that we're working on is getting this area just kind of cleaned up, pretty, ready for the RV to come back this summer, getting ready for all of the fun and exciting things that we're going to be doing over the summer. But this area does kind of need to be picked up and polished, if you will, just a little bit. Okay, so one of the things that I wanted to sit down and talk to you guys with, and maybe I'll do this on another video, but is actually utilizing your garden space, whether that is an acre, whether that is a pot. Utilizing things to the best of your ability. Now, obviously, this is going to vary depending on your climate, where you're at, what you're doing, all of those kind of things. But that is one thing that I really want to dive into a bit, because even though I have a huge garden, I still haven't measured it, which you think after almost 2 years being here, I would have measured it by now. But it's roughly, I'd say 75 to 100 feet by probably 100 and maybe 10 feet or something like that. So it is a fairly large garden. It is a fairly large amount of space to grow and produce my own food. And one of the things we are going to work on is getting some fruit trees in here, getting some just different long-term solutions to food. Now I want your guys' help with some stuff. I want to figure out where I want to put my berry bushes and the fruit trees and the asparagus and that kind of thing. So I'd love your guys' input and where you guys think it should go. I would love to know kind of your thoughts and just some ideas, because as well as I can envision the long run, I have no idea where to put things that's going to be permanent, because it's not like you can just dig a fruit tree up after 2 years and be like, oh, I didn't like it here, let's move it somewhere else. It's kind of a big commitment, and I want to make sure that I'm putting it in the best possible spot, the most convenient spot, the most practical spot, all of that stuff. I want to make sure it is where it should go for many years to come, because like I said, I don't really want to have to pull it up after a couple years just because I didn't like it, or it's not functional, or whatever the case may be. So like I said, I'd love your input on that. We're going to talk a little bit about the garden. And if you guys are following along, if you are in the same zone as I am, which is 7B, we are in Northeast Alabama. So we are having a super, super mild winter this year. So I'm actually going to start planting some stuff here pretty soon. I'll probably go one more till through this section of the garden through here. I don't know if you can, yeah, you can see it's pretty green through here. Those are just weeds and whatnot that haven't died. But I'm going to actually start planting some things. So I think my nephew and I are going to go ahead and plant some of the root vegetables today, meaning we're going to plant some beets, we're going to plant some radishes, some rutabaga, some turnips, just some different things that are cold hardy, that are able to go through a little bit cooler conditions than like your summer plants and whatnot. I am actually going to start some of my peppers and tomatoes here soon. I bought a grow light, so hopefully I can get a kick on that and I won't have to purchase already started plants, because that's what I did last year. I did start some from seed, like to my tomatoes. For the most part, I started by seed, but the rest of them I actually purchased, like my jalapeno plants, my bell peppers, those kind of things. I actually did purchase from the store. So just a way to save money, to be more resourceful and more frugal, and just being smarter with your environment. You know, it's easier to buy, you know, a $3 seed packet that has, you know, the opportunity of producing 10 plants than buying one plant that was $5. That just economically doesn't make sense. So I did buy that. I do want to start on getting that done. But I'm gonna let you guys go. I'm gonna get to work, and I can't wait to show you guys the updates, some of the finished products. Hopefully we'll get the fence done, or at least partially done today. And I can't wait to show you guys that in the next update. Stay tuned. If you haven't already, I would super appreciate you guys subscribing, liking, and honestly even just sharing this channel. You know, you may not be totally into it, but maybe your friend is, you know, maybe your grandpa is, maybe your mom is, whatever. I would just super appreciate that support in that way. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week and weekend. I bless you, and I give you grace and peace. Bye guys, have a good week.